All right, Ruthann. So before I get to the article that I want to talk about, which, by the way, is a truck driver that was recently acquitted of killing 7 people on a motorcycle. You're shaking your head yes, so you actually read that too. So good. Then we want to talk about something in common. I also read an article about, to me, what reminds me of what the general public thinks about the trucking industry. You're shaking your head yes. Okay, cool. And so that's really what I'd like to talk about today on Talk CDL. I'd like to talk about an article that I seen. You're kind of getting me dizzy with your head.
I was going to say, what does this shake mean?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm tired.
That's cool. Yeah, it's time for you to crawl in the bunk, babe, and get a little rest. So before we go ahead and get started on this ever peculiar topic of what the general public thinks about trucking, which is not good, by the way.
No.
We should go ahead and take a sponsor break, get that out of the way, let our sponsors be heard, and then let's get on with the show. What do you think?
Dun, 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 dun.
You know what? We're like on the same brainwave today.
That's because I'm tired.
No, because I was thinking there should be music right there. we're like the most unusual podcast. Out of every podcast, I wonder, we should be called the Weird Trucking Podcast. What do you think? Oh, can't get in my computer here. Ruthann, so who are we brought today by?
DriveWise.
DriveWise. And talk to me about DriveWise.
DriveWise is an application that helps you
bypass the scales.
Exactly.
Yep. And you know what's funny? Again, I don't want to spend too much time on one thing here today, but you know, we just got more emails from people that they're picking up DriveWise, which is awesome news. If you want to bypass scales and you want to use an app based, and I'm told, this one company told me they have 50 some trucks. They just got DriveWise in their trucks instead of the competition. And it's like $10 a month cheaper. It's like $10 a month, or I forget what it is, but it's like a lot cheaper for them to use DriveWise than the other people. And it's app based, quick to grab and quick to go. And go to drivewise.com and apply today. And actually download the app, right? It's an app based. Mm-hmm. Download the app and start using it instantly. That's drivewise.com. Ruthann, we're also brought to you by National Carriers. It's a mid-sized fleet out of Texas. They have beautiful Kenworth T680s. They hire students, owner-operators, company drivers, team drivers, trainers. They even have a cattle division. But they're mainly looking for reefer haulers. And if you call them at 888-311-7076, tell them Talk CDL sent you over there. Also, if you're looking for a local home everyday job and you have a Class A or a what, Ruthann?
Class B.
Class A or Class B job. Carter Lumber. That's carterlumber.com/talk CDL. And have a short form, fill it out, and you could be home every day in bed with your wife today. Let the kids jump on you every morning and scratch the dog's ear every day. Unlike when you're an over-the-road trucker, if you're looking to get off the road. Also, Ruthann, we're brought to you by, are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Camion's break-even calculator. With the high price of fuel, Camion couldn't have, it's almost like Camion knew this was going to happen. You couldn't come at a better time for a free download to help you utilize and to make every penny count in your truck on your fuel and everything. Camion's break-even calculator. That's KAMION.IO/talk CDL. Ruthann, one last sponsor, and they are called
drivingtest.org.
Drivingtest.org. If you want to guarantee that you'll pass your CDL, if you're looking to get a CDL and you want guarantees, go to driving-test.org. Tell them Talk CDL sent you. Ruthann, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're ready? You're always ready. Even when you're tired and yawning.
I am really, 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 really tired today.
Really?
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 I have no idea why.
Well, Ruthann, this article that I read, it's kind of I'll be honest with you. Like I said, before we get to what the general public, the topic of what does the public, how they view us.
The view of a trucker?
Yeah, the view of a trucker, well, not just truckers, but the trucking industry as a whole. Before we get into that, I wanted to talk about this recent trial. And I remember when this happened. It was only like 3 years ago, okay, when I was reading, it was on the news, and I was reading it. It was all over the major news. It was in New Hampshire. A trucker come up over the crest of a hill. You're on video yawning, you know that. A trucker came up over the crest of a hill, and boom, he took out the truck, killed 7 motorcycle guys. And I believe they were called the Jarheads. It's like this. So you have read it. So what do you know about this?
Well, I mean, I haven't read the whole article through. I know that's horrible of me, but it has, it's everywhere. So I've read the captions continuously, and, some places kind of reword it just a little bit, but
right.
I just know that I think it said that he took drugs that day.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that because, it's funny though, and I got to be honest with you, when I read, the first time that I heard about this, I'm like, that trucker's screwed. You kill 7 people, you're screwed, man. It's like, boom. But anyways, after you read, that's the thing about a trial. Let me say this. I'm just going to use an analogy. And I'm not saying what I think. I give my opinion later, okay? But how easy is it to form an opinion when you only hear one side of the story?
It's exceptionally easy. That's why you need to hear both sides.
Exactly. And again, I'm not on anybody's side here, because when you look at the evidence on both sides on the offense and defense, you can get doubt, okay, to what's going on. But there's a lot of strong stuff that points to me, one main area. But going back to what I was saying, you had a boyfriend in high school, right? And what happens when you break up with your boyfriend? You tell your girlfriend everything and how bad he was, right? And all your friends are going, that rotten asshole. And they're all on your side, right? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, he's at his house telling his buddies what a rotten, la, 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 you were, right? The girl was. Mm-hmm. And so all his buddies are going, that tramp, whatever the case is, they're calling. So one group is forming an opinion about the girl, it was her fault on the breakup, and the other side, the girls are forming an opinion about the guy. Meanwhile, most of them never really want to hear the other side of the story because it's my friend can't be lying.
Right.
Well, exactly. Well, it's the same with this case. When I first heard it, I was like, this dude's screwed, right? You know what? You know what the end result is on this case with this truck driver that killed his truck killed 7 bikers? He was found not guilty.
Yeah.
That's the end. Now, only he knows, and himself and the Lord knows if it was his fault or not, truly. But he was found not guilty. It says truck driver. This is an article. It says truck driver who took drugs the day of a New Hampshire crash was acquitted of killing 7 motorcyclists. So now let me tell you something. The drugs that this guy was found guilty of taking, I'm going to read them in a second, but here, I'm just going to read a little bit of it. It says, a commercial truck driver who took drugs on the same day he was part of a grisly New Hampshire crash. And by the way, I want everybody to know on this podcast, I got a few things that I'm going to be reading today that are very gory. I mean that. And it's almost like a disclaimer. I'm going to read it. Not that I really have to because it's our podcast, but I'm just letting the audience know there's some, there's trucker families that listen and maybe somebody's got sensitive ears. So there's a couple things that I'm going to read today that are really kind of in detail of what witnesses seen. And so if you really don't like gory, bloody details, you probably want to turn this podcast off today. I'm just letting everybody know. So it says the driver, okay, he was acquitted of killing 7 motorcyclists. Driver Vladimir Zhukovsky told police at the time he caused the accident, let's see. Driver Zukovsky told police at the time he caused the accident, but jurors in less than 3 hours found him not guilty of 7 counts, each of manslaughter, negligent homicide, as well as 1 count of reckless conduct. Zukowski, 26, had been in jail since June 21st of 2019. They have a picture of this guy. And look, whether you think he's guilty or not, they got a picture of him breaking down in tears because he probably was facing like almost the rest of his life in prison.
I would think that he would be.
Yeah. I mean, if you're found guilty, and then especially with the drugs that he had in him, right, you're most likely going up a river without a paddle. That's just the truth. So Zukowski had been in jail since June of 2019, since the crash, where he continuously swerved back and forth leading up to a head-on collision. The Massachusetts residents cried as the verdict was read and pointed towards the sky as he left the Coos County courtroom. Our hearts go out to the victims and their families. Our trial team did an excellent job, and we firmly believe that the state proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt, New Hampshire Attorney General John Formella said at a statement. It goes on to say that they can't believe he didn't get anything. You know what I mean? He should have gotten something out of it. Another article that I pulled up, Ruthann, unbelievably describes this about what happened in 2019. They're actually a Marine motorcycle club.
Hence Jarheads.
Hence the Jarheads, obviously. And it says about Zukovsky, it said multiple witnesses would testify that Zukovsky, who said he was reaching down to get a drink before the crash, was seen going over the center line. So now it sounds like he admitted he was reaching down to get a drink. It said Zukovsky knew how dangerous heroin was because on May 5th that year, he had overdosed on the drug while on a fishing trip, and then police revived him. Do you remember the movie Pulp Fiction? Mm-hmm. Do you remember when, was it Uma Thurman that overdosed? And then, John Travolta brought her to the drug dealer's house, and it was kind of a comical scene. They're going back and forth, screaming at each other. And finally, they draw like a circle on her chest, and they take a big giant, is it adrenaline or something? And they have to thrust it through her chest, and boom, and she just sits up, and the needle's still sitting in her chest. Mm-hmm. You remember that? Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty much a real thing. Not that I'm a heroin expert. Anyways, it said he was on cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl that day. It said he took it that morning, and it also noted that police noted after the accident that he didn't seem impaired, I guess. So, but what happened was, this is how the defense turned it around. They accused Albert Woody Mazza, who was killed, one of the motorcycle guys, of being drunk. So there was a couple motorcycle guys that were killed that day that were also impaired. So it's kind of like, see, this is where you start going, okay, well, now we've got real hardcore evidence that both of them, were on something that day. And I want you to know something. Also, this Zukovsky was arrested 2 months prior for a DUI. So this dude literally, he's not going to, I don't know that anybody's going to hire him, when they see what, whether he was found innocent or not. I don't see many people hiring the guy. But the dude was arrested 2 months prior for a DUI. He admitted that he was on heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine that day of the accident. A fishing trip prior, he overdosed on heroin, and they have to do the Uma Thurman thing on him, I guess. I'm not sure if that's how they did it, but it said they gave him a reversal drug. So, any thoughts so far?
I'm still trying to figure out how he can survive just taking those 3 types of drugs in one day. I mean, I'm not a druggie, so I don't know this stuff, but heroin, cocaine, and a fentanyl all in one. I mean, I heard of the zoomies. I mean, I'd be like zooming. I couldn't, if I'd be alive, I would be dead, I would think. I think my heart would have exploded.
I'm bad if I stay up for 2 days and drink lots of coffee. I'm like buzzing. I can't imagine what hardcore drugs are like. But when you think about it, not only is this guy doing this stuff, but he's driving a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Okay. And look, I'm not accusing the guy of it, but if you already admitted you were on that drug that day, and there you are driving a semi truck, and witness accounts there, he's swerving all. See, what I don't understand is the only thing, I guess, when you're at a trial, all you have to do is create doubt.
That's what they say. Just all you have to do is create any kind of doubt, and they can't unanimously. Yeah.
All you had to do, and so once they proved, if you can prove that the motorcycle guys had alcohol in them, now you've created doubt in the juror's mind. And if you have a lot of money and a good lawyer, I'm just saying, because in the eyes of the public, witness accounts, this guy's swerving. He said he was reaching for something. He admits to being on heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine that morning. But doesn't think he was impaired. All this stuff is playing in an account, and yet he's found not guilty. To be honest with you, I can see where when all of a sudden you go, okay, well, they had alcohol in them, right? I could see people having doubt. I can see that. Can you see that?
Well, yeah, and two wrongs don't generally make a right here either.
Right. It's almost like a perfect storm. You had a couple guys that were like crossed the legal limit on the alcohol side. You got a guy that's doped up and that's really doesn't have a good track record. He's got a DUI too. In fact, there's an article it says he should have actually lost his license. He should have been suspended, but because of backlogs
of processing and stuff.
Backlogs of getting things done. They never got to the point where they actually suspended the guy's license, which he would have never been there unless he would have been driving with a suspended license. So, there's a lot of, it's almost, like I said, it's almost like the perfect storm. And then if you looked at the road, because I remember seeing the pictures that day and the video, he just come up over a crest. And that's where it all happened. And it's just horrible, horrible day. Now listen to this. It says, the first witnesses who testified were drivers who approached the crash scene. Now this is the gory stuff, okay? It said they approached the crash scene from both directions. People that were coming from behind the big rig, people were coming from behind the bike. It said they described seeing dead bodies, including one under a wheel of a flatbed trailer towed by the truck, as well as debris from the motorcycle and the truck on fire. He said, you see images on movies like Saving Private Ryan and Annie Barron, a nurse who was a passenger in a car behind the truck and got out to see if she could help anyone. That's what you saw, like limbs scattered around. She said she stayed with a badly injured man and helped perform CPR when he stopped breathing but was unable to revive him. Her husband testified he saw the truck go over the line at times. Once, shortly before the collision, he said he had slowed down at one point because he did not feel the trucker was driving safely. The vehicles then approached a hill. P. Workowski said he wasn't able to see the moment of impact. The thing that was immediately visible to me was a number of motorcycles who were trying to dump their bikes and get out of the way, he said, meaning to lay they were trying to basically power slide and lay the bikes down. I think it was a case of not feeling like there was anywhere to go. The bikes were just scattering, trying to get out of the way. And it goes on to name, the victims and everything. But to me, again, this is just my opinion. I don't see how he could have been found innocent. I don't see how he could have been found, acquitted of all that, unless, of course, the jury and the defense, really put the blame back on Mazza, which is what he was doing. They were trying to put the blame back on him. And, just almost like, how a rape victim becomes
because she wore something too sexy. She was the one that was asking for it.
Yeah, a good defense lawyer does that.
But here's what I don't understand. That was only one. There were 7 people involved in that.
Yeah.
I mean, there were 7 people that died. How many were actually there? Like how many motorcycles, not every single one of them died. There was other ones that were involved in it, right?
Yeah, there was other ones injured.
Right.
But there was, I think they said the 2 leaders on the bike gang were also found with, over the limit on alcohol in their blood system. So that, they did, when they did autopsies on the bikers, this is how they found out that, these guys were also impaired. So you can't deny that part of it. You know what I mean? Because at the time, if they wouldn't have kept this trucker in jail for almost 3 years, if they really didn't think this guy was a flight risk and he was guilty, I think he was Russian or something. So I don't know, because there's also another article on the deportation, the people that deport you. So there was also an article on that where they were also looking into deporting him, or was he legal? I don't know. And again, I'm just saying there was a couple things going on with this guy. So he's been kept in jail. So obviously somebody thought they had to have thought he was guilty for the last 3 years, or, they would have at least left him out with bail or something.
Well, that or the fact that they're concerned about other safety issues because of the fact that, maybe because he, the heinous action that happened, because of how bad the accident was, that it was just better for them to keep him in there. And, maybe the lawyer was one that says, listen, I'm going to keep you in there, stay in there. You'll get yourself clean. But on top of that, it will give us the opportunity to show how bad things were prior to this on the other side. Meaning, maybe did they say that they found video of the motorcycle gang coming through towns or anything like that, being erratic in their driving to help, I
don't know.
To not get anything is just kind of odd. So
exactly. So, and you know what? This is, I believe this kind of will just fade away now. Once you're found not guilty, if you're smart, you stay out of the public's eye. If it was me, I'm just saying, if it was me and I was in a country and I was maybe, I don't know if he was a citizen or not, because it talked about
deportation.
Yeah, something I should look to see where it's at. Maybe I will zip over to it real quick. So what I would do if I was here and there was a possible, let me see if it says it right here. No, it must be on the other one. If there was a possibility, of, yeah, I don't see where it's at. There was a safety approved of conduct. Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, I would leave if it was me. Now, I'm not saying the guy should or has to. I'm just saying if, because you're going to have a lot of people, especially if you stay in that area.
Yeah, you have family members that are nearby. I mean, He might not have gotten anything from that particular side of it from the state, but individuals from the family will probably try and sue him and so forth. Civil.
Yeah, I'd move at least west. At the least, I'd get out of that New England area, just because of there's. But then again, who knows? Bottom line is, it's a sad story. It's a gory story. And, let's be honest. This is what happens when you're impaired on the road. And my message to any truck drivers out there right now is, if you're on the road and you have anything in you, illegal drugs, alcohol, anything, you need to get off the road, and get off the road now. There's no place out there, especially with 80,000 pounds going down the road. Ruth Ann, moving on. So this deal with the industry, the way the public views the truck driver. I'll be honest with you, people I've met when I was a truck driver, I don't care who you meet. You meet somebody, you're talking to them, and you mention that you're a truck driver. People give you a look.
Some of them give you really like the, oh, you're one of them?
Yeah, you're a guy.
You don't shower for weeks on end.
Yeah, you're one of the guys that's cutting me off all the time. You're you're dangerous, you're a truck driver. I'm not kidding you.
You don't look like a trucker.
And here's the other thing. They associate truckers with crime. And most truck drivers, people that we know, honestly, that we communicate with, like Kelly and those guys, and Kelly McCullough, Kelly Mack, all these people, respected truckers.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're good. They're clean. As far as hygienes go, but they have morals, they have standards.
Truckers do.
Most truck drivers. See, this that old saying, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. Even Michael Jackson had a song, one bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, you do. But anyways,
no, I don't.
Yeah, well, it was an old song, and what I'm getting at is it's so true. If I guess one apple in a barrel that's rotted will affect other apples.
Yeah, potatoes are the same way.
Potatoes are horrible. You get one rotten potato, man. It's like, oh my gosh. But the bottom line is, you get a couple truck drivers that cut people off. You get look at Walmart. Look at the Walmart parking lots. Truck drivers screwed themselves out of being able to park in most Walmart parking spots or parking lots, even at the bottom where nobody's bothering anybody. Because I've witnessed it. You've witnessed it. Oil pans changing your freaking oil in the Walmart parking lot and then leaving oil there for them to throw away and have to get rid of. You're an idiot. Okay.
Agreed.
All the piss bottles and the Walmarts were starting to smell like truck stops. We all know what a truck stop smells like when you back your rig in and you get out and you're walking down the aisle, okay, or you're heading into the building, you smell piss everywhere. Okay? And it's not every trucker. It's not every trucker that cuts people off. It's a very small amount of people, but it's enough to where the general public does not have respect for trucking.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's funny is when they say that, crime usually comes with truckers. Generally, honestly, it's usually the other people that are committing the crime against a trucker. Truckers generally don't go out trying to rob someone or trying to do certain things.
But there are some.
There is. There are some. The guy that decided to try to rob a bank and he's stealing with the bobtail trying to get away. There are the ones that...
And that's a dumb trucker.
Well, And most truckers, anybody that wants to do something like that is going to be considered dumb. But...
The getaway semi.
But there is those, that create or not create, but commit a heinous act by, either it being human trafficking or it being robbery or it being murder or torture or whatever. Yes, you do have those drivers. But most of the time, it's the drivers in his bunk getting woken up and, the guy that got beat and, there because someone broke into his tractor. Those happen. And it happens more against a driver. Just when you're driving. You're
saying there are a lot of times truckers are victims.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Truckers are more victims than they are the trucker committing something.
Right. But you see, and here's the thing. I've worked with different trucking companies over the years in different divisions, and unbelievably, you look at the industry as a whole. There's a lot of good drivers. There's a lot of respectful drivers out there, but then there's a portion of them, honestly, that most companies won't hire. Mm-hmm. And these are the same drivers that the truckers don't really want to even say, hey, they're part of us.
Yeah, they don't want to. It's the black sheep. Yeah, people don't want any association with them.
The guy going down the interstate with his foot up on the dash. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The guy that is seen at the truck stop that gets out and he's too freaking lazy to walk up to the garbage bin and get rid of his garbage. He just dumps it out the window.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? The guy, we did an article on trucker bombs, which is bottles of piss, okay, that truckers use. They found in 1 year over 16,000 documented piss bottles in just the state of Washington. It was like 16 to 22,000 filled piss bottles on the side of interstates that they found when, with cleanup crews, and they actually had estimated this amount in one state.
Yeah, pretty disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, guys, it's really not that hard to just dump it out, In fact, if you really want to be clean, dump it in a toilet when you get to a truck stop, Take your time. Keep your industry clean. Keep your part of the industry clean. Some of these guys are really, honestly, they make a lot of these guys look bad. Now, this is the reason I started thinking about this, because of this article I seen in CDL Life. It's about a Love's truck stop. You read it too, didn't you? It's about a Love's truck stop that said, we're not going to build our truck stop in Montana. And it was really because of the outcry from the locals that lived there. And what's funny is I start reading this, and the first thing I see is there's a picture. This started in 2017. They were going to build this truck stop in, let me see, I forget the name of the little town. Ramsey, R-A-M-S-A-Y, Ramsey, Montana. It's a little community off the interstate, I guess. And truckers were complaining that they didn't have a clean place to pull into in that area. So Love's was like, okay, we'll build a truck stop with 111 parking spaces, and we'll hire locals. We'll give jobs out. It'll be a good thing. And truckers can come and be able to pull in there, get fuel, get food, and sleep for the night, right? Mm-hmm. And so I start looking at this article, and there's this little girl. And honestly, I'm really bad with ages. I would say maybe 10. 8, 12, I don't know. I wouldn't want to insult the little kid, but she's holding up a sign that says, my safety is more important than your truck stop. It's like, okay, the truckers are coming. Oh my gosh, hide, the truckers are going to we're in trouble. Oh my gosh. It's like zombie apocalypse in semi-trucks. So here's what it says. It says, Love's Travel Stops announced this week that the company will not move forward with the plans to build a truck stop near Ramsey, Montana, after years of staunch resistance from a group of residents. Staunch resistance to this. It says, on Monday, Love's issued a statement on the proposed truck stop along I-90 near Ramsey, a tiny community of about 40 homes. So it's like a little patch, right? It said, for business reasons, we will no longer pressure a travel stop in Ramsey, or pursue a travel stop in Ramsey at this time, and we'll shift our focus to other projects that support our plans, the company said. We are thoughtful about where we choose to locate our Love's travel stops. Professional truck drivers identified the location along Interstate 90 as an underserved part of Montana for safe, clean, and well-maintained places to stop as they deliver essential goods. Okay, you with me? It says Love's announced plans to build the truck stop in early 2017. Since that time, the Ramsey community fought back, contending that the truck stop would bring crime. This is what I'm getting at. This is what a bunch of people are going, who's coming to town? Truckers? Oh my gosh, please build a prison here. But don't build a truck stop. Let's build it like a maximum prison, but not truck stops, please. Please.
No.
A tiger sanctuary, maybe, but not a truck stop. These truckers are killers. So it says they contended that the truck stop would bring crime, pollution, increased traffic, and noise to the town. In July of 22, Love's received zoning approval to build the truck stop, leading residents to appeal the board's approval in a district court in Butte. The appeal was still pending when Love's announced that they would not move forward with the Ramsey truck stop. So this is the eyes of the community of Ramsey, R-A-M-S-A-Y, Montana. Truckers are going to bring crime, which if you go on the internet, you can see some fights. I mean, it's very small. I don't see the crime coming with the truck stop. Now, if lot lizards came to work, that's one of the signs of the times. Pollution. I guess they're thinking truckers idling with their diesels, You know what I mean? And the noise. So they're figuring, well, we're going to hear trucks running all night. We're going to hear them pulling in. It's going to be just a mess. But it said they were right off the interstate. So didn't they have interstate noise to begin with?
Probably not a lot. I mean, it's Montana.
That's true. That's true too. And so therefore, it shouldn't be a lot of people. It was 111 stops, and pollution. Pollution and increased traffic. Now, Love's response was, yeah, but we're going to be giving you jobs. You know what I mean?
Who cares?
Right. Like I said, oh my gosh, not the truckers, not the trucking industry. Please give us something else, like a tiger sanctuary, something safer. How about a maximum security prison? Maybe we'll get an escaped murderer every now and then, but not one of them truckers. Oh my gosh. Now, I even seen a video where the one woman was crying. She's like, what a blessing. We won.
That one, and after that, the next one says, gosh, duh. Oh, wait, how'd they say it? It was, oh, golly. That's what, oh, golly.
First question I got is, who uses the word golly?
Oh, golly?
That word's obsolete. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, it's like this is the general public's view of the trucking industry. It's not a joke. They think that and don't get me wrong, we have our share of scumbags in trucking. We do. It's a fact. We have our share of dirtbags that are in trucking. But the bottom line is, the bottom line is, okay, it ain't that bad that you got to fear for your lives. I mean, I do understand, the noise, maybe the pollution.
I can understand some of that, but I mean, you're already off the interstate. You're already getting a lot of that to begin with. I mean,
yeah.
If they pick that area, it could also be because of the fact that it's like nothing on anywhere, like so far that they were looking at the safety of a driver being able to pull over and get some sleep because there's nothing nearby. And, they're thinking, okay, well, they need to be able to pull off and get rest, and they're not getting it anyway.
So bottom line, guys and gals, truck drivers,
you are evil. You're evil.
I know. And they know they're not evil. You know what the bottom line is? Our power just went out on our gimbal.
It went.
Yeah. But the bottom line is, let's do our part for you guys that dump your piss. Seriously, you pull into a truck stop and you leave 4 or 5 bottles sitting on the curb. You're a pig. You guys that just open your window and dump your garbage out. Honestly, people know that you're a pig, and maybe you don't care. But you know what? If you brag to your kids at home that you're a truck driver and you're helping the industry, that makes you a two-face. It makes you a hypocrite. If you're bragging at home how great you are in the industry, how good of a driver you are when you call in for a job, but yet on the other side of the coin, you literally are pissing and shitting up your part of the trucking industry, you're a two-faced. So I would tell you, you don't have to be this way. At one time we've all done things wrong. Turn this stuff around, guys. Help. What would the long haul bandits do? They, in order to join, if you guys I haven't even talked about the long haul bandits in a long time. In order to join the long haul bandits, you have to be filmed cleaning up truck stops. You have to be filmed getting out and picking up the crap that nobody else wants to pick up, and being part of the good part of the industry, or else you can't join the long haul bandits. Mm-hmm. That's their stigma, that's their level that they want you on.
They want to bring it back to how good truck driving was, and what kind of reputation they had years ago.
Yeah. So guys and gals, you know what? Honestly, do yourself a favor. Join us in trying to help the industry get a CB. Okay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with pissing in a bottle, but pour it out in a toilet instead of on the parking lot.
Definitely many ways you can get rid of it.
Look, I'm not going to say you should never piss between your tires, because I've done it. There's times where you can't hold it. You got to get out and go. I get that, but you know what? Pour some damn water over it. Dilute it a little bit so it's not going to be a strong piss smell. Bottom line, guys, clean up your industry. There's a lot of guys out there that are shaking their head. Yeah, damn it. You know, because I know a lot of guys that got a lot of respect. Ruth Ann, time to move on. That's my podcast for the day. Do you have the word of the day?
I do.
Get it over with, please, because I got to hold this gimbal up.
Get it over with. Listen to him. Get it over with, please.
Well, I'm just saying, look at how professional we look. The gimbal went out, and it's filming us on one angle of me holding up the camera, and so.
Well,
go ahead. What do you got? What's the word of the day? Efficacy?
Efficacy.
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 If you tell me. No, go ahead. What is it?
The ability to produce a desired or intended result.
The ability to produce
a desired or intended.
So the ability to follow through, basically.
To produce a desired or intended result. Yeah. The ability to do it.
I'm not Iffica poop. What was it?
Efficacy.
Efficacy. I'm not an efficacer. I'm not an efficacer because I never finish a project.
Well, here's the thing. You could look at it in many ways.
Yeah.
You know how when you, like an instigator,
I am an instigator.
So if they're able to follow through, like if you instigated for something to happen and you're able to have that produce a final result because of it, then you efficacied.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not an efficacer. Okay. Or whatever the hell it is. Anyways, that was from...
Just stuck on efficacer.
I got my own vocabulary. So that literally is the podcast, Ruth Ann, and that was Word Genius that we get our words from every day. So if you guys want to be smarter like us, we're so much smarter now. Now we're efficating. Okay? You guys go to
Not defecating.
No, don't. You guys go to Word Genius and get the word, sign up for it or whatever you do. It's free. Anyways, Ruth Ann, we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.